and welcome back to another video. We have round 1 of our March monthly.
Yeah, it's the Paladin format. Basically, Mind Twist Library banned.
Yeah.
And everything else good restricted. Like Mishra's Workshop,
Factory and stuff like
Workshop, Factory, Strip, him, and Maze of Ith all restricted. So basically, somebody got their butt hurt one day
and decided to,
and actually convinced a lot of people to have a less fun format. But that's
that's for another video.
Unpopular opinion. To me, it's like if you can't play library, what are you playing old school for? But that's okay. At the end of the day, I like all formats. Really, realistically, I'll play any format. So.
Yeah,
you know, I have my opinion, but at the same time, it's Magic. I play Magic for Magic's sake. So let's get into it. Yeah, let's get into it.
So we have Keldon Storm,
Aggro Swarm, Keldon Storm, Hazazon's Army. You pick the name, guys. Let us know what you think is the best name. But,
and some interesting cards that we don't really see too often.
Yeah, I mean, Hazazon himself, sometimes he pops up here or there, but not really. This seems to be like a deck based around him and the Keldon Warlord, right? So
yeah, Keldon Warlord. I mean, we have the...
you want to tell us what the Keldon Warlord does?
Keldon Warlord basically is a creature that pumps up for every other creature in play, including himself. So if there's 3 creatures plus him, he becomes a 4/4.
4/4.
Yeah.
So it's cool, right? Because like the Hazazon, at the beginning of your turn, you get tokens equal to the number of lands you have. So if you manage to play Keldon and then Hazazon right after, your Keldon is now swinging with a massive attack kind of thing.
Yeah, and we see even with the citizen token card.
Oh,
the Initiation.
This one here. Ication
token.
Ication Town.
Yeah.
Which is a card I've never even knew existed, to be completely honest with you.
Well, it's from Fallen Empires, which is not favored set, but
for 6.
Creates 4/1/1 white creatures. And another card from Fallen Empires that we don't see too often, Ring of Renewal. Pay 5. Tap, discard a card at random from your hand to draw 2 cards.
Yeah, and we were talking, right? You were saying you do not need to have card in your hand to discard it. So
yeah.
The discard is not part of the cost. So if you have no cards in hand, you're just paying 5 to draw 2. So it can occasionally be a slightly better jam die tone. Occasionally, slightly better.
Occasionally.
So just to say really quick that Ication Town, I think, is overcosted. I think 6 mana. Well, 6 mana for 4/1/1s is probably okay. It's just overcosted because it's a slow card.
Yeah.
But it does work nicely with the deck. So I'm curious to see it get cast in. I want to see François get a swing in with that Keldon Warlord.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then back on the channel again is Karl's Mill deck, or Moulin, depending how you pronounce it and where you're from.
Yeah.
And I mean,
well, where I'm from, I call it coin toss deck.
Yeah, exactly.
But, no one. Sorry, Karl.
And I mean, typical mill, Field of Dreams, Millstone, control aspect, counter spells, mana drain.
I think we were talking about it the last time this was featured, like jokes aside. I think it's what you're basically looking at is the deck. Like you're just the blue-white control deck, but you've taken out cards to insert the mill package, which gives it a completely different angle.
Yeah, I would argue you just swapped out 8 cards to put Field of Dreams and Millstone.
Yeah, but it does change like the deck a little bit, how you play it.
Yeah, of
kind
course.
of, because like now you're focusing more on top decks as opposed to what's in their hand. But at the end of the day, like all these, I took the deck and changed them. I think you're just downgrading the power level of your deck, which is okay because, like, again, I mean, we just saw a Keldon Warlord deck.
Yeah,
Format's not just about playing the best deck, so like it's okay. It's not a criticism, but like if things go wrong, one thing you can identify is, well, like I did downgrade the power level of my deck.
Yeah.
And then whether you believe it or not, there is a potential that you added a random factor to your deck, right? Because you don't really have control of over all the cards you're seeing. So there's that. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's a blue-white control deck with Tome, Moat, Counterspell, Disenchant, or the Plowshare. So like,
yeah, everything you'd expect to see. But I mean, you're playing a deck like this, you have to be like, okay, it's playability. What's the win probability versus you just enjoying playing the deck itself. So, you have to realize that if you're going to play a deck like this, if you're at the end of the day happy with the fact that, or just don't care that you probably might lose more than win, then by all means go for it. But like you said, yeah, it's a downgrade from what you would probably see from a...
But no, again, downgrade doesn't also necessarily mean so bad, right? Like it's just like not as good as opposed to bad. And the thing is too is like even if every single person got on board that once you introduce the mill, you're just a random deck, like random luck kind of. Even if everybody got on board with that philosophy, there's still 56 cards that require you to play correctly, right? Like, sorry, 52 cards that require you to play properly and correctly as a control player. So like, there is absolutely still skill involved in piloting control decks. It's not to say that, well, Karl can close his eyes and the deck will play itself. It is not. I'm not trying to make that statement.
No.
It's just, don't think you have all the answers just because you can see one card in mill two. Like,
yeah, exactly. So,
all
right, let's get into it. So we got François pretty strong on the land play.
Yeah, it's too bad for him he didn't get in any of his dorks down on the first turn, like to complement. Yeah, you see, like that elf on the first turn would probably complement his deck a lot better than it does on the second turn. But it's okay. Karl is just doing the land go thing, which is scary from a control player's.
Yeah.
From across the control player. But yeah, see, to me it seems like that's not what François wants to be doing. He doesn't want to be playing his elf on turn 2 and then attacking with it. So maybe he has, like you were saying, a hand with cards that cost a lot.
Yeah, exactly. So that's why he's probably playing like the Mana Volts with the Moxen just to really try to ramp up quickly.
That was actually a really good
And,
decision.
you know, there's a lot of 6 drops you have to figure or 5 drops. You know, Ring Renewal costing 5, Tetravis costing 6, the Citizen card or the token, whatever, creating the tokens, which is 6 as well. So those mana dorks are going to be really crucial for him to cast those cards.
And I don't know if Karl is aware of the deck that François was playing or if he's seen the deck list, but disenchanting the monks was a really smart play because if you have seen the list, you know that François wants to get the 6 mana. So disenchanting the monks is strong, but also I think he may have missed a land drop on that turn. And, you know, the guy's playing a dork and misses a land drop. Mana is important to him. Try to limit those resources. So the disenchant was a good play, which is good for Karl because I'm going to be criticizing him probably a lot. So,
well, you got the luck.
Oh my god!
So he lucked up there.
Yeah, sometimes you get.
I mean, we also have to
punished.
We also have to mention that François, which you probably can't really see in the deck picture, is also having ATOG in his deck, probably for the Mana Vault. So not wanting to take the 1 damage, pumping up his creature.
Oh, okay, yeah, that's true. We should have mentioned that ATOG. I think it's a little bit suspicious in the deck, to be completely honest. There aren't even factories to go the extra distance. I mean, look, he's got Tetravis, and that can make tokens too. It's not like absurd, but for it's to me, I don't know. It's not enough.
A couple of ATOGs, maybe he's just
I think the deck is missing 4 more artifacts to even start the conversation of do I add Tog? Because like,
okay, so he's regrowthing the Lotus.
So that's 3 mana. He created 3. Then he used 2 for demonic.
Oh, okay. He's got Wheel of Fortune, so I think. But I mean, you know, it also probably was the ATOG was placed to, you know, because of the curve. You know, you got the Mana Dorks turn 1. You got the ATOG. I know. But that maybe was his thinking.
Maybe Felwar Stone's better then at your 2 drop.
Yeah.
Turn 1 elf, turn 2 Felwar Stone, turn 3 you have 5 mana, 6 mana. With mana.
Okay, so Karl just.
So yeah, Karl's counterspell on the Wheel of Fortune introduced such a power swing. Like if the game was at a neutral state, that counterspell into his mill pieces, both of them on top of it, definitely swung the game into his favor. So François not doing really anything while Karl's in complete control now.
Yeah. Well, depending what François has in his hand.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if the control player can't, you know, take care of the creatures.
Yeah. That's true. That's true too. Like there's no, because the factory can block the elf now, right?
Yeah, that's true. Okay. No.
The 2 stones are good.
Yeah.
But yeah, so like the thing is like now Karl gets a little bit of a false sense of locking the game. Not that I think he understands that it's not a hard lock. I'm pretty sure he's aware it's a soft lock, but there's this false sense of security now where like you see the top card is shit, so you don't have to mill it, or you do decide to mill it, and then like what if that next card is the mana? Now of course like if François does nothing to force Karl to tap out, and Karl's able to use the millstone on François's end step, then it's definitely a lot more like a full control of the game as opposed to pure luck. If you have to mill on your turn, that's a really bad place to be in my opinion.
Well, now he has the book, so now he could like draw as well.
Yeah, but see, like that's something like if he prioritizes that draw instead of milling, you know what I'm saying? Like he should, unless he really, really, really doesn't need to care about the cards on.
Okay, so François playing Tetris.
Oh, yeah, interesting. So he didn't mill the Tetravis because he didn't care about the 6 cost, and then François managed to draw into 2 lands. And now
Well, I mean,
François
Karl has the swords in hand, so probably was not too concerned.
Not too concerned, yeah, which is fine. But I wonder, though, it's an interesting situation. I would like to hear from Karl. I'm sure he'll tell me if he didn't have the plow in his hand, would he have let François draw the Tetravis?
Yeah.
Because François was only showing 4 lands for 2 turns, 4 mana for 2 turns. So like the thought could be there that thing's never getting cast. And that's what I mean, though, is like you do that, so you let him draw this 1 card, then you have to mill the next 3 things, and all of a sudden, boom, François just drew 2 lands. Now he's got a 6/6, and you've got a moat, which doesn't do anything against the 6/6, right?
But now with the moat in play,
The moat's not in play yet.
oh, not in play yet, but if he decides to, what's he casting? Another Tetris. Okay.
It's really strong.
Okay, so now Karl's got a 4-turn clock, essentially.
Yeah, but he had the recall on top.
Ah, okay, yeah. So, never mind. Scratch that. Fortunately, there's a bit of a glare on Karl's side, so we can't really see the top card of his deck.
It's a bit weak sauce.
It's
It's
okay.
okay. At the Tundra Wolves Challenge, if this happens, we'll have somebody on site to.
Well, I mean, we'll be there too
to
to
just run over and correct things. So it would be nice to. It would be nice to to have the same information that they have by seeing that top card. I think Karl should probably do it for 2. Yeah, I was gonna say should do it for 2. Get the counterspell and the plow, especially since he has 2 mana available to counterspell.
Yeah.
But like now, like this is that precarious. Oh, see, I think I take 4 damage instead of taking myself off of the ability to mill. I don't know. Like, what is that 4 damage doing to Karl?
Maybe he's just like wanting to...
Especially when you're holding the counterspell too. Now again, like,
Yeah.
there's one unknown card you see, so Karl's feeling good, but like, I don't know. Like, the worst punishes are the ones where you have the counterspell and you go, I'm okay this 1 turn, and then you tap out or something.
And then it makes you lose, yeah. So he's gonna draw the Manifold. Another Manifold. So, yeah. Speaking of which, you had mentioned Tundra Wolves, and for people who are listening,
Another
the Tundra Wolves is what, June 1st, 2024?
June
this year?
1st, yeah. But I think they're going to put the registration out soon.
Yeah.
But here, just to say, see what I'm saying, though, is like that 4 damage translated into another Tetravis being in play, whereas if he didn't plow, he could have countered the Tetravis and then plowed the first one on his following turn. There'd be no Tetravis to deal with at all.
Yeah.
So I think the plow was a little bit hasty, and there's like kind of a punish too. So I'm saying is like for the level of control that making the tokens is absolutely the right call.
Yeah, because now he has to take... Yeah, he has 4 creatures to deal with.
Yeah.
The only thing that could really... so the tokens have
balance.
Summoning Sickness, so he can't swing for...
But balance can do something.
Yeah, that's the only card I can think of currently.
See, now Karl's in this state of I have to mill myself to find a card to do something about this. Whereas, like, just don't tap out as a control deck, please. Especially when you have counterspell in your hand.
Okay, so he's gonna take the disenchant to at least take care of one of the creatures. I guess.
Yeah.
Okay. But even then, like Karl now really has to like aggressively mill quickly before playing the soaring. Yeah, I agree that was the wrong. So Karl should have had to 2 blue open for the counterspell, because now he's just
like everything was going so good, and now he's like sweating a little bit. Unless he's not, but I mean, I doubt he isn't. He's just like, he's got the counterspell still for the next thing. He's got the tome, but like, why put yourself in that position? He could be at board control. Now he's not at board control. It's the Tetravis, right? Actually, do you kill the Tetravis? Because if there's like a time twister, all that those things go back in the deck, right? Whereas the tokens don't, and it's all 1/1s. So maybe you don't kill the Tetravis. I don't know.
Well, we'll see what happens. So Karl now really has to...
Damn, I really wish we could see that card on top of his deck. It's really annoying.
Okay. Karl just being very lucky with these disenchants, honestly. But
that's what I mean. Like that's why I take those jabs where this deck is just a random coin toss, because like there's nothing he's doing that's like, except for just choosing to mill himself, which isn't really a decision. It's a forced situation.
Yeah.
He has to mill himself. And then he's just ripping into these like cards that help his situation, which is like, I don't know. It doesn't give me any encouragement for the deck. As much as I appreciate and love control decks,
yeah,
doesn't make me happy to be like, yeah, I cut 8 cards from the deck for this, you know? Yeah.
Okay, so he's just Francois is just swing in, swing, and
4-turn clock. And Karl just
okay.
ripping the good stuff.
So he's gonna probably try his luck with the ancestral.
Yeah.
1, 2, and 3.
Brain Geyser is good.
Brain Geyser is good. He's probably gonna play the Brain Geyser to try to.
Yeah, Brain Geyser is better than milling at this point, so I would just I would poop my pants, try to find the balance. Maybe just tap everything, leave 2 available, find balance. Alright, well, he wants counterspell magic, maybe 2. He's leaving 3 lands on town. 3 lands is not balanced counterspell. 3 lands. Did he play land? Yeah, he played the land ancestral, right? He ancestraled off his land, so he doesn't want to. Okay, well, he's counting still. He hasn't made a decision yet. Okay, yeah. So he's not interested in balanced counterspell. That's what I'd be looking for.
Okay, Chaos Orb. He's just very lucky with.
It's possible he's also just happy with Plow 1 plus counterspell, or assumes he's going to draw another. See, like if I was François, I'd be a little bit upset because it's like this doesn't seem fair or justified. It's a good game. Don't get me wrong. It's a good game, but from the perspective
because Karl now he has a Chaos Orb and he has the
plow,
the plow and the counter. So he got lucky drawing into that Brain Geyser because otherwise he would probably have maybe lost or being close. He would have been pretty tight. But Karl almost drawing and discarding himself as much as François. So I'm wondering at the deck count at this point. What would François have that could possibly win him the game at this point?
Fireball, if he suckers out the counterspell somehow. But Karl has to let him draw powers. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's one of those situations where Karl's gonna have to see a card on top of the deck, be afraid of it, mill it, and then sure enough, 2 cards deeper is the fireball, which then François draws.
Yeah.
But see, that's what I mean. It sounds like a lot of hoops that François has to jump through, but in reality, it's the opportunities that the mill deck presents for your opponent.
Yeah,
that's where my criticism of the deck comes from. It's like you actually present opportunities for your opponent while you think you're in control. Doesn't work for me as a control player.
No. Now, I believe earlier Karl had a moat. Did he discard that?
He discarded it to the recall. Okay. He discarded moat and something to get back the counterspell in the plow.
So at this point, yeah, even if he attacks with his elves,
so he's gonna
Karl still has
mill a land, and then drop a bomb. Yeah, what if that land and that Acacian card were swapped? Then François draws the Acacian, he plays it, gets counterspelled most likely, and then the fireball. And then the same situation happens the next turn, and fireballs. There you win the game, right? Like that.
Yeah, that's when you're playing cards, it's a game of luck and just top decking.
Yeah. It's not necessarily over. That factory will pick pieces up. Oh, but the Pendelhaven is really good on the elf. It's true. Oh no, but the factory makes itself he has to not pump the one that's being blocked. He has to pump the other boys. So Karl will have to draw a card, perhaps. Yeah. Oh, he also has the Keldon Storm still. So that's. Oh, and he has a plow there too. Okay. So.
What a dirty boy.
It's everything that I'm saying as criticism for this deck doesn't seem to matter because of how Karl's drawing, but.
I mean, Karl's drawing really well this game, so we have to give him.
And the only misplay I think Karl really made was that early plow. Other than that, he's playing well, so it's it's not totally undeserved.
Okay, now he's got the maze. At this point, I think I would probably.
François should concede at this point.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go. So François realizing, okay, I've got no outs. He's got the counterspell.
Yeah, but that's true too. Is it's important to realize it's not just me criticizing the deck. It's like I said at the beginning during the deck text, you still are playing a blue-eye control deck, which requires you to make the correct plays. And other than that plow, Karl made correct plays.
No, he did all the correct plays. One, like I said, like we said there, one play we kind of disagreed with, but everything else, he did correctly.
Yeah, I mean, like, you make the right plays, get rewarded at the end of the day.
I mean,
luck or not, for certain aspects of the deck, make the right play, get rewarded. So good for him. Good game. Like, it's what a game too, kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, if you gave that exact same deck to like another player who's not familiar or maybe that has less experience, or would probably could have lost that game easily. So, like you said, it's all about the skill. And Karl, being a skilled player as he is, played it pretty well. You're kind of like, Karl's gonna have a word with you. Yeah. You might get a couple of messages on Facebook. But you know what I mean? Like, it's just... okay,
it's not really focusing.
Okay.
Karl brings in the Sarah Angel.
To deal with the Tetravis.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I guess also your opponent's like slow, clunky creature deck. That's exactly when you want to bring Sarah Angel in, I think.
Yeah.
I think that's the correct sideboard. From Karl, I didn't see what François brought in. I don't know what he brought in. But yeah,
probably the Red Elemental Blast, I would guess, to deal with Field of Dreams, counterspells, etc.
Oh yeah, the Red Blast for sure. I mean,
maybe the Divine Offering,
Falling Star. He wants his and probably desert. Oh, Disrupting Scepter is actually probably pretty good versus Karl. If he can get a Disrupting Scepter into play and start discarding Karl, like, it's possible that Karl actually took out Disenchant.
Possibly. Oh, playing the. It's where did he mana drain that? Oh, that's an odd choice for a mana drain. I don't know.
Well, I was actually gonna say, like, I wonder if plowing the elf is correct, and it's possible that Karl's thinking the same thing, but just is operating off of both the bird philosophy, but at the same time knows he needs to keep his plows for the bigger boys. So, like, in the realm of I plowed the elf, it's the thought process of I don't want him to have mana, so I need to keep dealing with his mana source providers, but I feel bad about using the plow, so I'll counterspell. That's like what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I agree with that. So François had the Time Walk, playing the Mana Vault.
The Time Walk seems premature, especially with a deck versus Karl's, where he's going to mill you into things that could actually benefit you.
Yeah.
I would hold the counterspell, the Time Walk for like key turns like that.
Yeah, but maybe he's also scared that, if Karl has a couple of counterspells in his hand, then the Time Walk is like just going to get simply countered.
Yeah.
And so it's like wanting to get it in quickly just to try to get another land drop, possibly. But with the moat, that's a rough.
And honestly, so it's him saying like it was definitely whether or not he was supposed to mana drain that other elf. Not plowing it was definitely the correct play, because now we're seeing. That's what I mean by that first plow was probably also questionable. Not wrong, but questionable. And if he identified that, that's why he kept the second plow, because like what a strong play, right? Moat with a mana available to plow your big threat into my Sarah Angel. Like, not to say François should concede, but that's like really powerful. That's like really, really powerful, especially when he uses Time Walk as an explorer. Explore being like just 2 mana, draw a card, play a land.
Okay, so what's
7 has his own. Ooh, Hurricane. Okay. That seems not normal. That does not seem normal. That seems like he knows what Karl's playing. That bringing Hurricane into this matchup means you're assuming that your opponent's bringing in Sarah Angel, and to me that looks like a play of I'm familiar with Karl's deck more than anything else.
Well, I mean, let's be realistic. Karl plays this deck quite often.
Yeah.
In the tournament setting, it's not like if I'm going to a tournament against you, I'm going to be like 99% Karl. Mark's going to be playing Twiddlevolt or some form. You know what I mean?
Sure. But
if I have a sideboard piece and I know you're going to play that deck in game 2, I'm going to bring it in. So probably that's why François slipped it in there, because he knows that Karl's sideboard piece is going to be 1 or 2 Sarah Angels.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. It seems like a sideboard play made based off of information as opposed to like a testicle tingle, Like, I don't think it's totally unintuitive to be like, my blue-white opponent may have Sarah Angels, but that's a risk to bring in a card like Hurricane. Like, I don't know. So, like, but it's okay. At the end of the day, it was an amazing call, right? He brought in the right card, and it was perfect because
so
literally saved them. Like, that's what I mean. Like, this whole concept of maybe Francois could concede there goes away because of his incredibly smart sideboard plan.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Good for Francois. Good game. You know what I mean?
So now he's got. Oof. Yeah.
Yeah.
That regrowth would have been excellent.
Karl's milling in the dark, and it's working out again. So.
Because if he had that regrowth, he could have got back that Tetravist that got milled the turn previously, and you know.
Yeah. Yeah. What's Karl? I wish we could see what Karl's hand was. Ooh. That was the Acacian Town, but it's bad versus Moat.
Yeah. That's why, like, stuff like that, sometimes you have to be, you know.
Yeah, but like, see the problem. Another problem with bringing the Hurricane in is if you look at Francois' sideboard, which again, if you guys want to see it, just go back to the deck tech in the video. You'll see there's 4 Red Blasts which you can bring in. There's 3 Disenchants which you can bring in. There's a Desert Twister you can bring in. There's a like you can bring in almost all 15 cards practically.
Yeah.
Like that Hurricane should be the lowest priority of all those cards. Like if he didn't bring in a Disenchant or a Blast because he brought in the Hurricane, like that's a detrimental decision and just got lucky that it worked out here kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree. He should have brought in like the 3. Maybe he did bring in the 3 Disenchants and the Divine Offering.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible he did a complete swap of his deck where he took all the creatures out and became a control deck. It's possible you can do that. Like, keep the flyers, get rid of some clunky boys. Now, keeping the... If that's the way he went, but he kept the Acacian Town, that's... Seems
Yeah.
that's a little bit suspicious.
Unless he's counting on the Disenchants to get rid of the moat.
The moats, yeah, like flood the board and then on the crucial turn, disenchant the moat.
Yeah. That was probably his thinking.
Second tome. I think I'd rather draw a card than play a second tome. I'm pretty sure my opponent's disenchants are going to the moat.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I guess Karl saw the divine offering, so he wants to extra insulate himself. But again, like, if you can take a turn, there's the Acacian Town.
Karl's like, what in the God's name is... So now he's just banking on a disenchant. Unless he's got it in his hand.
Yeah. I don't think it's safe to assume that just because my opponent allowed Acacian Town to resolve that they don't have counterspell.
Yeah.
They might be feeling comfortable behind their moat. So you may need to do some bait plays. But again, the philosophy versus the philosophy versus but at the same time, right, as good as Red Blast is there, maybe Red Blast is better to protect their disenchant. Right?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm not saying it is, I'm just saying like that's a consideration. Like that's a hard
decision to make.
Yeah, but
you're gonna make your opponent draw 3.
But for a hard decision like that he snapped that card off real fast.
Yeah.
Right? So like I don't know, but then now I just saw Karl's hand. I think he's got 2 counter spells, so that's kind of rough. Because even if he did blast the counter, I let you draw 3 cards and then I blast your counter spell and you have another counter spell. That's kind of a punish. So maybe just don't let your opponent draw 3 cards. Work with what's certain as opposed to what's.
But I mean, with 2 books on the table, I mean, he could just continuously draw until.
Oh yeah. But that's the thing I was gonna say before. Like the philosophy versus the control deck is like, the longer you take to put them on the card, the higher chance they have of drawing the card.
Mm-hmm.
So if he's got the disenchant in his hand, there's no use waiting. He should just pop it off, kind of thing. Of course, if the opponent is showing you with body language or whatever that they've got the counterspell in their hand, then you can bring in the mental games. But otherwise, one more turn to wait is one more card that the control deck draws. One more tome activation, one more ancestral recall. All these things.
Exactly. So
François contemplating his life.
Hating himself right now. It's just like, damn it. But realistically, he's drawing cards, but he's not really winning right now. He's not really doing anything.
Well, Karl... Oh, wait. The millstone was destroyed, so...
Yeah, so he's just...
Oh, because Divine Offering. Because it wasn't a disenchant. It was Divine Offering, that's why.
So maybe François is waiting for Karl to play the millstone, play the disenchant, using up one of his counter spells.
See, but that's what I'm thinking is like... François just revealed a Tetravis, and I think the correct play is to not cast the Tetravis. Unless he has disenchant. Bring out the counterspell.
Although that's killing all of François' creatures.
But... Yeah, but it's reducing Karl's hand to 1. Karl can't let that resolve.
So
Well,
this
I guess,
is like
I mean,
probably the bait. Like at this point, he's just wanting. He knows it's not going to resolve. He's trying to bait him. He says, "Okay, I'll display it." He's not going to want to do that.
Yeah. Okay, but look though, if Karl only had one counter spell, I think it's okay to let the balance resolve. Because if Karl only has one counter spell and he uses it, he loses the counter spell to stop the balance. But if he doesn't use it, he'll drop his hand to 1, which can be the counter spell. He can hold the counter spell. And then he's got 2 books to redraw the hand. And then François has no board. So in fact, if Karl only had one counterspell, I think the correct play would be to not counterspell.
Well, François just played the Tetravis, and then Karl disenchanted. So, and Karl having a Chaos Orb. I mean, at this point, it's a rough hill to climb.
Yeah.
Especially with François top decking at this point, and the opponent just drawing 3 cards per turn.
Yeah.
How far do you want to go in this match before the writing's on the wall, you know? So,
Yeah. Wrath of God too. If Karl casts that Wrath of God, I think François will concede.
and he's got to bring it. Yeah. So I mean, at this point,
Karl does not want to cast the Wrath of God. He wants to bait more creatures out, I guess.
I think right now Karl's just wanting to punish François. He's just like,
Well, it's, I mean, like that. The patience of the Wrath of God means that, like, now, if he Wrath of Gods, it is going to break François' soul, right? Because if he would have done it last turn, then François plays that card, and he's got 4 new guys on the board. Oh, he's got 2 Wrath of Gods, anyways. Okay. Yeah, is he just showing his hand? Okay, I thought he just.
so
Yeah, like honestly, this is a tournament setting, sure, but it is still kind of like friendlies.
yeah.
I think if Karl just showed his hand, François would have conceded. I'm not advocating for that, but
it's a shame that, like, you know, he has all these tokens, and I believe it's a card from Ice Age. It's called Catapult. You sacrifice a creature and it deals 2 damage to.
Yeah.
If you had that, but again, that's see, like,
yeah, Karl's
January when there was like the Ice Age, or
Yeah.
put cards like that in.
Yeah.
I'd probably lose horribly, but just
Okay.
like,
You win the flavor match.
okay,
Oh, François pissed.
you
But-
can see those fists of frustration. Ah!
But that's actually not a bad thing because, like, these are all cards that Karl is forced to counter, which means Disenchant has a higher likelihood of resolving. So, like, yes, it's frustrating. Yes, it's annoying. Yes, you're sitting there doing nothing. But keep forcing the counter spells. That's good.
I mean, right now, if he happens to get, like, on the end step, if he happens to get a disenchant on the mount,
Okay, well, recall is dumb.
yeah, okay, there you go. Is he scooping? No.
Well, that's what I mean. Like, Karl should just show his hand.
Like-
Especially if my opponent shows me that kind of level of frustration, like, I'm gonna put them.
The only thing I'm thinking is that right now François is like, okay, maybe if I play disenchant on his end step, if I draw one, I could swing in for lethal. Because he has what, 8, 10? No, it's not lethal. Almost. This Karl has what, 11 life?
Karl's discarding his Wrath of Gods, his other mode. That's so funny. I mean, like, again,
That's just saying, like, that's how little I care about your board state right now.
Well, he just brought back 3 counter spells and the Sarahs, so, like, yeah, there is a less than 0% chance that François is doing anything in this game. Because even if François draws bomb, that's 3 turns like Karl counters. That's 12 damage from Sarah Angel. François at 11 life. Like, the math is on the table, right?
Yeah,
like,
the math is there, yeah.
It's just that it's, you know. So congratulations to Karl in advance because he's moving on.
Yeah, I mean, we know he's going to win at this point, but I just want to see how much punishment François is willing to give himself.
I'm happy to see that the Acacian town resolved a few times, though. You know, at least
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah.
We didn't see any warlords or Hazazon, but that's okay.
I would have loved to see a nice warlord come in, you know, swing for 9.
Yeah.
Okay, there we go. François not giving up. He's like, no.
Also, I think I'm from the same school of you can kill me if you want to win. Which is, you know, it's admirable to some extent. I don't agree necessarily. You know,
Yeah.
I come from the philosophy of the best thing you can do, and the best skill you can have in chess is knowing when to concede.
Ah, there you go. He wanted to ring a renewal. But
Honestly, I think still good games. I mean, I don't know. They were interesting enough, even despite the moat being there. Like, there was potential for François to not get milled the way he got in the dark, you know, to find this card instead of that card. He had the red blast to protect. There's a chance. Like, things could have been, you know, the time walk was maybe premature. So, like, plays were made that would change things a little bit. Ring of Renewal.
Nope.
It's a cool card. I mean,
yeah.
like François was at no cards, one card, no cards in his hand. So in fact, it would have been good if he could get it into play.
Yeah, if he had gotten that into play, I think he could have maybe drew into some answers. So
he did cut the Warlords and has he cut the creature package to bring in more control.
Yeah.
But then the thing is, the problem with that is that those are the ways that he's killing. So like if he takes them all out, he's reducing his clock significantly versus a control deck, which is what the control deck wants to see. It wants to see a slower.
A slower board state. Yeah, exactly. So overall, pretty good games.
Yeah, I think so.
Congratulations, Karl, on the win. And
cool.
Congratulations to François for trying something a little spicy, a little different.
Yeah, it's definitely a cool tank. I can appreciate that. And we'll catch you all in the next one.
Yep. Until next time.